So Mark has been dead for 4 days. He died on Monday, February 1st, and it's February 4th. And it's a lot. I'm really glad I vlogged it though. So I already uploaded 2 videos as I'm filming this. I vlogged the journey, like when Mark first got sick. I'm so glad that I did. I don't know, like I was thinking of not doing it, but for some reason I just was compelled to vlog it, and I'm so glad that I listened to myself and I did it. So I, you know, documented most of it, like just seeing him sick, like really noticing that he was really sick for the first time, and just going in and out of the vet and having good days and bad days. And it's weird because in the beginning I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna die, and then like, you know, I would have these moments when he had bad days, was like, oh, is he gonna die? And then he would be okay. So that pattern kept happening. And when he felt good on Saturday and he was walking around and jumping up on things and he wanted to be pet constantly, I was like, okay, he's gonna be fine. And then Sunday he's in pain again, and I'm like, okay, because of the pattern, I'm like, okay, then, you know, is he dying or is he gonna be okay? And then I just felt like he was gonna be okay, and that's when he actually died. So it's just weird, like I was panicking about him dying before and he was okay, and then when I finally, you know, I'm trying to be positive and think that he's gonna make it, he doesn't. And I mean, there's no way to prepare for it, right? So it's just been a really tough journey. This is the first animal companion that I've had that's died in front of me. I've had other animal companions die like without me being there, because I had really messed up people who raised me. I refer to them as the wardens, and they would put my animal companions to sleep when like I would be gone. Like I went on a trip in 6th grade, and then they got rid of my cat. They didn't put her down at that point, but they moved her to one of their businesses, and then eventually they just got rid of her, and I have no idea what happened to her. And then I had a dog that they put down when I was at work. And so, and there was nothing wrong with the animals, they were totally fine. It's just like behavioral issues. And you know, knowing what I know now about animals, like obviously they would have behavioral issues with the way that they were being treated and stuff. They weren't being like hurt, it was just like they weren't being given enough stimulation, not exercising enough. And the wardens just put them down because of behavioral problems, and also because they liked messing with me and hurting me. So that was fucked up in its own way. But I haven't had an animal companion that like I've had for myself die with me, like fully responsible. So this is the first time, and it's awful. And I'm not gonna adopt any more animals. I have 2 more cats that are still alive, and I don't want to adopt anymore. Like I love animals to death, but I cannot. Like this is heartbreaking. So I go in waves. I've noticed it's like waves. So I haven't felt, no one close to me has ever died. With Wolfie, which is the dog that the wardens put down, that really, really hurt. But I think because I wasn't there when it happened, and I don't know, I wasn't really spending as much time with Wolfie because I was living somewhere else. It still really, really hurt. I was still really sad, and you know, the wardens messed with me again and all of that. But it doesn't hurt in the same way, because you know, Mark has been with me for 10 years, and I adopted him, you know, really early on, like my first year in Bangkok, like almost maybe a little over a year, and then I adopted Mark. So he's been with me through this whole journey. We had so many ups and downs, and I started going through the pictures yesterday, and that actually really helped a lot. That was really comforting, and I'm so glad that I document everything. I have so many pics and so many videos. Wait, I have like a hair on me. I have so many pics and so many videos of him, so it was so comforting to like go back. Like I was looking through the 2015 folder and just going through all the pics and videos I took of him and the other cats, and it was really nice. I was really surprised. There were so many things that I had forgotten that was there because I hadn't looked at it. I had wanting to sort out all my old pictures, you know, so that it'd be easier to find stuff, and I have a motivation to do that because I want to see all the footage of Mark, and I have so much video of him that's so adorable. I'm just like playing my favorites over and over again, and that helped a lot yesterday. And you know, it's just like the pain is, it's like a constant thing, and it actually reminds me of meditation, because I've been meditating for over 200 days, and with meditation you focus on your breath, and then if your mind goes astray, you know, you're allowed to do that, and then you go back to your breath. And then with grief, my focus is on Mark, my loss of Mark, and then, you know, I'll get distracted. I'll, you know, have to work or do something like, you know, go buy toilet paper or something, and then I remember again, you know, that Mark is dead, and then that grief hits me, and it's this like feeling in my head. It's like you know, when you're about to cry, but it's a very deeper pain. Like it's like I can't breathe. There's like a wave coming through me, this wave of sadness that goes through my heart, and it's like in my head and through my nose, where it's like not even like you're just about to cry, it's even stronger and deeper than that. Because sometimes I don't end up crying and I just feel that feeling, and like I'm feeling a little bit right now, like just like this little pain here, and then, or I have like my heart feels like it's being crushed. I just like these waves of sadness, and sometimes, you know, it's just a soft wave where I don't start sobbing, and then other times it's a really hard wave where I'm, you know, sobbing uncontrollably, and it's really tough. So I'm going to upload one more video before I upload this one, which is me saying goodbye to Mark's body. I had him on the coffee table. So he died on Monday, and I asked the vet like how long I can keep his body, and he said it was okay to keep him overnight. So I kept him overnight, and I was, at first I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. Maybe it's too much for me, you know, to see his body like this. And that's how I felt as I was documenting him dying, and also, you know, I filmed, you know, saying goodbye to his body. I'm like, okay, you know, is it going to be too much for me? Should I upload this, or should I be filming this at all? And I'm actually really glad that I did, because I think it's good for me. Like it is sometimes a lot, like depending on where I'm at mentally, it could be too much for me to see that, but then other times it's comforting. So it just depends on where my mood is at. So like the one where I'm saying goodbye to Mark as he's dying, there was when like I was going to try to edit it, I was like, I can't look at that right now. But then later on, I was okay with it, and it was actually comforting for me to look at that again and to see like Mark was there and he knew what I was saying. I was able to say all the things that I wanted to say to him. Like every time I was listening to myself, I'm like, yeah, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to say to him. So I'm so glad that he knows that, and I was able to tell him very clearly, you know, everything that he needed to hear and what I wanted to say. And that's comforting. And I also could look at Mark's eyes and I could see acknowledgement there. So it wasn't just in my head, it's there, like he was listening to me. And I do find that really comforting. And then other times I'll be like, I can't look at that, it's so fucking sad. And so I just go from like up and down. Like sometimes I'm okay and like, oh, you know, it's okay, I'm okay right now, and then I'll have this wave of sadness. So this is my first time experiencing this, and it's fucking awful. It is really awful. I miss Mark so much. And so yeah, I kept him overnight, and then Tuesday I was like starting to get really attached. So in the beginning I was like not sure if I wanted to have him here, because I never had this happen, but I just wanted to try and see, okay, maybe if it's too much, then I'll have to, you know, maybe put him in the freezer back at the vet until I'm ready for his funeral. But I kept him, like, even that went away quickly. That hesitation went away quickly once I started really, like, I moved his body, I changed his towels. I finally put him in like a sweater that I bought for Japan that's like a really thick soft sweater that I'll never use here because it's Bangkok and it's always hot. And I just wanted him to be in black, and something that was mine, so I just wrapped him in that sweater, and he looked really cute in that sweater. And just tending to his body and petting him, and sometimes I'd like, you know, uncover him a little bit and pet his stomach and just tell him that I loved him. And it would come in waves. Like sometimes I'd go see him and talk to him and share a memory like that I remembered, or that a picture that I saw, and then I'd go and talk to him. And then like I would sit and try to do other things, and I'll come back to him again, tell him that I love him, start crying, tell him that I'm sorry, all of this stuff. So it was really good to have his body here, and I actually got attached to it. And I was like thinking, okay, maybe I can keep it for another day. And then everything was fine. Like there was no smell, a little bit of leaking in the beginning. I mentioned that in the previous video that I will upload before this one. But it was very minimal because he wasn't eating, or he didn't drink anything that day that he had pain. I don't think, or he drank very little. So it's just like some leaking, and then I didn't smell anything actually. And but so I was like, okay, they don't see a smell or anything. Like he didn't poop because he didn't eat anything. So maybe I can keep him for another day if I just like turn on the air conditioner really high. Everything was fine. I'm like, okay, I think I might need to keep him another day because I was really attached to his body here. But like 10 o'clock rolled around and I started to smell it. It just like, it is such a weird smell because I've not smelled a dead body before. And it's like, it's not even a smell. I tasted it, which just sounds so gross. I tasted like the sour, it's like a very distinct thing. It's just like sour, putrid. It's just like nothing that I can even explain. It's just sour, like this strong, sour, strong smell. Like that's the only words I can use that I tasted. I couldn't even, it's not like a smell. It was something I tasted like in the back of my throat. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, that I need to take him to the vet, because I'm waiting for some money to come in, or I was waiting for some money to come in to pay for his funeral, because I want a Buddhist ceremony for him. And so I called the vet and like asked them, can I put the cat, can I put Mark in the freezer? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. So I wrapped him up, and I showed that in that last video that I put him in some plastic, and I didn't cover him up because I thought that maybe the vet would have like a special sealed bag or something, so that's why I half-assed it. And he's not that far, the vet's not that far, so I just put him like this lightly in a plastic bag and put him in that box and took him to the vet. And the vet experience, I was just picturing like a freezer, like a proper freezer to store bodies and medicine stuff, but it was literally a fridge way smaller than mine, like this old fridge, and the freezer like looked like it might not even be working. So I hope Mark is still frozen. I could have just kept him in my freezer, but I was so worried that maybe the smell would come through, and then the poor person that has to move in after me will have to smell dead cat, you know, for the rest of their stay here. So I don't want to do that. I wanted to be considerate, so I'm glad that the vet took him, and I think it'll be fine. I checked on him yesterday, make sure his body was still there, because right now I'm paranoid that I'm gonna lose his body. Like I'm clinging on to everything that I can of him. I was looking at tufts that, like, before I put his body away, I collected his whiskers, so I'm like, I need something of his, right? So I have his little whiskers here in a little bowl. I'm gonna put it in a bag, and I found a little tuft of fur. I had brushed him, but I usually just throw the fur away when I brush him, and I wish I had kept, you know, a little tuft of fur, like a bigger one than that, but you know, I don't think the fur is going to be any good now, because it's frozen and he's decaying. So I don't know if I want to keep that fur now, you know, if I try to take fur off of him right now in this state. But yeah, I'm just trying to cling on to anything. Like when I'm looking around and I see like fur, is like, is it Mark's fur? And I'm just like trying to cling on to anything. So like the pictures really help. I have an offering here on the coffee table of flowers that I got, because, you know, thankfully I'm in a Buddhist country where they leave offerings for the spirits every single day, and there's always people selling flowers and stuff like that. So I got some flowers. I think those particular flowers are probably for good luck to hang in your car, but I just like the color. So sorry to Thai people if I'm misusing the flowers and they're not supposed to be for leaving as an offering, but I just like that color. And but they do sell like special flowers for offerings and stuff, but I don't know like which ones for what or anything like that. I just picked the flowers that I liked, and I know Mark would like it, and I put that there. And I'm just leaving a bowl of water for him. I want to leave food, but my cats are gonna eat it, or the ants are gonna eat it, so I think he's gonna be okay with water. So yeah, today is the 4th day, and all the money that I've been waiting for has come in, so I'm gonna actually take you to the process of having a Buddhist funeral for your animal companion. So this is the first time I've done it, and I've known about this for a while, and I've had this planned for any of my animals, that because they have Buddhist ceremonies for animals here, I wanted that for my animal companions. That's something that I made a decision on as soon as I knew that was an option. I'm like, hell yeah, I want a Buddhist funeral for them, of course. So I saw an option of 4 different temples based on like Google searching, asking the vet, asking friends, and I settled on taking him to a temple in Ekamai. I forget the name, Wat Tong something. I'll put the name up here. I was doing some research, and I'm like, okay, I want them to speak English. That's very important, because I want to make sure that they know what I want, and that I want to keep the ashes. So like, again, I'm like this clingy person that wants to hold on to any remnants of Mark, so I don't want to scatter his ashes, which is what Thais normally do with their animal companions, and I think with their human companions as well. I'm not sure, but with the animal companions, they just like throw them in the river, throw the ashes in the river, but I don't want to do that. I want to hold on to Mark's ashes. So I want them to know, like, do not throw out the ashes. I want to keep it. So right now I'm so paranoid that I'm going to lose the body, or they're going to throw out the ashes without my consent. So I just want to make sure that they speak English there, that they do cremation, and that they'll give me the ashes. So I contacted an animal rescue here where I adopted Varla. It's called Paws, and I'll leave the link in the description if you want to donate to them. They always need money. And I just asked them like, oh, can you recommend a place where they'll, you know, do pet cremation and they'll give you their ashes, because my Thai friend scared me and said, oh, I don't think they do that because his dog died recently and they just took the dog and they buried him or something. And I'm like, no, I don't want them to do that with my cat. So he got me paranoid about them just taking the ashes and not letting me have the ashes, but I think they will. It's just like right now I'm just being paranoid that something's gonna go wrong. Like right now I just want things to go right. I want a proper send off. I want to keep the ashes, and you know, we'll go from there. So I'm going to take you on that journey today. I'm waiting for 10 o'clock when the vet opens, and I'm going to go take a taxi there and get Mark out of the fridge. But before I do that, I already have it mapped out. Like I'm so like, especially with something like this, when Mark was dying next to me, I had to keep busy. Like of course I spent time with him, I talked to him, but I would take breaks and then I'd just go do stuff. I cleaned my entire apartment. I just found different things to do while I was still being near him. And that's how I've been. Like I'm glad I'm still working. You know, typically people want to take the time off, but for me, no, I need something to do, because if you just leave me to my own devices, I'm just going to lose my mind. So I need stuff to do. And I slept like 2 hours, and even though I've only slept for 2 hours and I am a little bit like tired and groggy, I'm still like, okay, I need to do stuff. I need to do A, B, and C. I'm all packed up. I have like tape. And I have plastic bags because I'm going to put bags, so I have a box there, like a regular packing box. I'm going to put 2 bags of ice in a plastic bag for the bottom, and then another bag on top. So Mark will be packed in ice, and then we'll go to the temple. And I'm just hoping that he doesn't stink up the taxi. I'm really hoping. I'll feel so bad if he does, because it's really hard to get like dead animal smell out. So I'm just gonna like pull the windows down or something. So we'll see how it goes, because it is a bit far. I mean, it's gonna take maybe like half an hour, so we'll see. It should be okay. And then like so back to when I was taking Mark there and they were going to put him in that little freezer, one of the assistants like packed him up, and they just used the bag that I put him in, but they just put him tighter and just wrapped him in duct tape, so it's totally Thai style. There wasn't like this professional like body bag for the cat and this nice freezer for him, which is what I was picturing and what they would have in like a fancier vet, but this is like a totally Thai style vet. I go there because it's cheap and the vet is really good. So yeah, she just packed him in packing tape, and then seeing his little body, like a little mummy, it was like a tiny little body bag because it was black. It just like, it broke down to have him reduced to this little body bag, and I cried when I said goodbye to his little body in the freezer. I'm gonna cry again. I'm gonna bring a box of tissues. So there's gonna be a lot of crying. I'm not gonna apologize for that. I'm gonna let it out. I just don't want to cry in the taxi, because like it'd be like me crying and then you hear like smelled like a dead cat. Like I feel so bad for the taxi driver. So I hope I don't start sobbing until I get to the temple. I can cry in front of the monks. I'm totally fine with that. But you know, when I'm out in public, like going from A to B, I don't like crying. I just don't like that attention. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm a bit nervous because I don't know what to expect. Like I know it's going to be intense. I know I'm going to cry. But other than that, you know, I just hope nothing goes wrong, right? I feel like everything went wrong while Mark was dying. I didn't really process that he was dying. I didn't really treat it like, oh, cherish the last moments. Like I was just like going by instinct. And I feel like I made like the wrong turns, like not getting him, you know, stronger painkillers when we were already at the vet, and not trying to like scramble and try to beg a bunch of people for money to take him to the vet again, and not spending time with him his last night before he went, you know, comatose, because every time I'd go near him, he would start crying out in pain. So I thought maybe like I was disrupting him and I was causing him more stress by going near him. So then I stayed away, and I just felt like, okay, maybe I should have just said, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay next to you even if you get upset. But then I don't know, like, and you know, in hindsight, you always try to replay like, what could you have done better? And you know, he's gone now. I know he forgives me for anything that I fucked up on. And it's just about me not, you know, everyone that I've talked to who has lost an animal companion has said, just think about the good stuff. So I think everyone goes through that, where you're just like blaming yourself, thinking of all the bad things that you did, thinking how you fucked up and everything that went wrong with it, and how you could have changed it and how things could have been better. And I was clinging to that for, you know, the last 3 days, but now, you know, I'm getting better at being more positive, and I know that's what Mark would have wanted. And I know this sounds so cheesy because I hear other people say it, but I know him, and he was a very positive cat. And, even when I had like a bad day and I was like not giving him attention, I was pushing him away and just like being in a bad mood and just not wanting to be near him and just wanting to have my space. Once I was ready to be nice to him and be loving, he knew. Like I even told him, like, I'm so sorry that I pushed you away, I'm just going through a lot. Like I always talk to him like a regular person, and he does understand me. He did understand me. Like it would actually freak me out how much how good he understands English. Like I would say things like, do this and this, and he would do it. Like I wouldn't even point or even do anything. I'd just say, Mark, okay, get off the couch, go over there and lay down, and he would do it. And it's not like me training him to do that. He just knows what I'm saying. So that can be kind of freaky sometimes. So he understands everything that I tell him. So okay, so that's enough of me rambling about my dead cat. I'm going to wait till 10 o'clock and then I'll take you on this journey to what a Buddhist funeral looks like for animal companions here in Thailand. Thank you for watching.